Okay, everyone, let's discuss the current state of the markets because, yeah, it looks like a really intense situation out there. Bitcoin just fell to almost $94,000. Additionally, XRP is currently trading as low as $2.83. And every time we see drops like these, you know what happens? All of a sudden, the world is ending once more. Crypto is dead, the sky is falling, everyone, get your belongings together, we're done. However, this is where things start to become really interesting. The opinions of analysts are divided on this one. Yes, there are many voices yelling that this is it on one side. The market is over. This is evidence that we are plunging headlong into a bear market that is likely to persist for some time. Here's what's interesting, though. I do follow the analysts when I look at them. Additionally, these individuals have incredibly outstanding backgrounds. Nearly all of them are expressing entirely different opinions. They continue to assert that the best is yet to come, despite the devastation that has continued today and the bloodbath that occurred yesterday. This bear market narrative is completely untrue to them. Which side makes more sense then? I'll let you make your own judgment, though, because that's what we do here. I'll now give you all sides of this tale as usual. To be completely honest, though, I don't think this is the end of the world. We're not yet heading into bear market territory, in my opinion. Is there anything that would cause me to reconsider? Of course, there are certain warning indicators that I am keeping an eye out for, and I will get concerned if they appear. However, I haven't seen them yet. In a moment, we will go further into what those are. As I write this, XRP is currently trading at $2.25. Bitcoin is currently trading at over $95,000. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, man. Out there, the past few days have been cruel. But let me show you something truly fascinating. The Negantropic account has this post. For those who are unaware, this is operated by the co-founders of two very prestigious on-chain analytics companies, Swissblock and Glassnode. These folks are knowledgeable. Since we would be here for day, I won't read it all. It was posted early yesterday, though. The worst part is still to come. This occurred prior to the most of the current devastation. What did they say too? They cautioned that a final flush down towards $90,000 might occur. Crucially, however, they stated that even in that case, the following step is not a matter of if, but of when. They claim that nothing is broken by this, and that is the recurring theme I hear from almost all of the reputable analysts in the field. Indeed, there is volatility. Yes, some people are finding it unsettling. However, this falls well within the typical range of what we have witnessed throughout the history of cryptocurrency. Folks, this is only Tuesday in the world of cryptocurrency. This is yet another Swiss block beauty that truly drew my eye. They wrote about how, as Bitcoin drops below $100,000, stablecoin dominance is increasing. Here's the crucial realization, though. The system is not losing capital. It's merely sitting on the sidelines waiting. And keep in mind that yesterday, when the market was already collapsing, this was posted. However, they pointed out this important point. Panic rotation has not yet occurred. All of that purchasing power is instead being stored in stablecoins. This type of accumulation is known as traditional dry powder accumulation. They pointed out that Bitcoin is protecting the range between 97,000 and 90,500. The fascinating portion comes next. When we receive a capitulation sweep of about 95,000, all that money that was previously shelved typically comes back in. Bitcoin then recovered and is now worth over $100,000. Therefore, the people in charge of Swissblock don't find what we're seeing frightening. Before we ever reach these lows, they really called this yesterday for them. This is not the end of the world, but only a sweep of submission. Now, here's something that I think you're going to find incredibly interesting from Altcoin Vector. Fascinating. They are pointing out that altcoins are currently outperforming Bitcoin. And the best part is that mid-caps are now the dominate group, and it has nothing to do with Bitcoin's weakness. This is why it's important. Bitcoin frequently takes the lead during normal bottoming cycles. Alts occasionally take control for brief periods of time, although these shifts are typically fleeting and erratic. However, things are different this time. Even though Bitcoin is still working through its bottom formation, mid-caps have been in control for far longer than usual. That's not common. Additionally, Altcoin Vector claims that it has significance. What can we infer from this? It implies that altcoin strength is more than just a buzzword. It's structural. Under the surface, actual buildup is taking place. Additionally, the foundation is currently being constructed. This spin may pick up speed once Bitcoin has stabilized. Not collapsed, but stabilized. Additionally, you'll observe that they still anticipate Bitcoin stabilizing, rather than making a ridiculous collapse to $60,000 or anything similar. What do the midcaps tell us then? This is where things start to get exciting. Alts aren't responding with the typical vulnerability we're accustomed to. In fact, some are doing better. Take a moment to consider that. This entire altcoin section should be deep, deep red, considering how weak Bitcoin is right now. However, it isn't. This validates precisely what the market phase has been indicating for some time. The alternative? Their moment of surrender has already come. The one that is still struggling is Bitcoin. Additionally, alts will do significantly better than Bitcoin once it stabilizes. Not if, but when. Here is the conclusion. Without a doubt, the best is still to come. If we don't see a true alt season by the conclusion of this cycle, I would be truly surprised. It simply wouldn't make sense. This time would truly be different in a very significant sense if that didn't occur. Let me now present you with something very amazing from Crypto Wizard, a chart analyst. He issued this warning while examining the market capitalization Bitcoin dominance percent chart. The 50-week moving average for Bitcoin supremacy is eroding. The topic of losing that 50-week threshold has been discussed a lot. Here's the problem, though. Dominance of Bitcoin is already gone. It is refusing any attempt to regain that 50-week mark, and we are witnessing another strong bearish breakout, creating what appears to be a lower high. And how recently has this particular trend occurred? I can tell you exactly what happened next. Alternate season. He remains adamant that this dominance will continue to erode. And now, for the lovely part, the price of Bitcoin is rising even as dominance declines. Take a look at how strong altcoins have been lately. As noted by Altcoin Vector, a number of altcoins are currently outperforming Bitcoin. This is yet another intriguing observation made by a price chart expert. Since August 2024, Bitcoin has not been this overextended to the downside of the weekly lower Bollinger Band. And when was the last time it was that long? In the weeks that followed, that was the lowest point. Therefore, we might be witnessing the same setup unfolding right here if history chooses to rhyme with itself, as it frequently does in the realm of cryptocurrency. There is still a chance that this Sunday will see a great weekly candle close, because the bottom Bollinger Band is now trading at about $101,000. If it only touches that lower range by the time the weekly closes, man, that would be something. I now want to present a very significant credible crypto story. For those who are unaware, I firmly believe that he is among the top analysts in this field. Nothing has changed since he wrote this yesterday afternoon that would make him reconsider his stance. This is his most recent and comprehensive analysis of the matter. Cred, what if we hit $74,000? Would that confirm our Bitcoin top is actually in? Someone questioned him, and he had a wonderful response. If so, our alt season will arrive sooner rather than later. This is his main argument, which is very important to comprehend. It is anticipated that the most significant alt season will occur after, not before, Bitcoin peaks. Do you see his point of contention here? Since Bitcoin hasn't really peaked yet, we haven't yet experienced our big alt season. It always takes place following the peak of Bitcoin. After that, someone inquired as to why. Since we haven't seen an alternate season yet, we would, presuming that 74 million is breached, which incidentally is his line in the sand. And his answer to that question in the form of a graphic is remarkable. This is an excellent historical example, so allow me to explain. On December 17th, 2017, following the conclusion of our last cycle, Bitcoin reached a peak of $20,000. The green dotted line on his chart indicates that after that, Bitcoin fell 50%, reaching $10,000. The red dotted line is that. This is when things start to get interesting. Following this 50% decline from Bitcoin's peak, we experienced our incredibly successful alt season. Remain composed, follow your strategy, and keep in mind that volatility in cryptocurrency is a benefit rather than a drawback.